have a lot of hobbies: writing, reading, baking, dancing, and that's not even the whole list. And this doesn't even include actual responsibilities and commitments that I have. So balance is something that has always been quite hard for me to figure out, because there have always been so many legitimate responsibilities on my plate vying for my attention. And there are many times where I'll be so focused on the particular task I'm on that I would totally neglect all the other responsibilities that I had. So for example, I'm editing a YouTube video and I'm too engrossed in it that I don't even eat until I feel like I have edited it to a certain level. And so many times one responsibility would suffer slightly because of another. I didn't like that. I wanted to do it all at the same time, and I always felt guilty when I couldn't. So the question on my heart for a long time has always been, how can I find balance amidst the multiple things going on in my life and even amongst the hobbies that bring me joy? And you know what I did? I stopped fighting and decided to just go with the flow. Stay with me, I will explain.
You feel like giving up. I pray you find a reason to hold on.
I think my mind shift started in 2018 when I attended a conference by Mrs. Ibukun Awoshika, who happens to be an alumnus of my university. If you don't know her, she's the former chairman of First Bank of Nigeria, an entrepreneur, a corporate board professional, a pastor. So you could say that she's well skilled at wearing many hats. So you know how people usually say that, oh, as a woman, you can't have it all. You would always have to sacrifice one for the other. Mrs. Awoshika shared how that from a young age, she has always been very ambitious. And none of that was going to change after she got married. That conference, she mentioned how that her mother-in-law lived with her family for the first 20 years of their marriage. So it was her mother-in-law that took care of many of the responsibilities at home whenever she had to be unavailable due to her other responsibilities.
My mother-in-law lived with us for 20 years. Why? First, she's a fantastic woman. My husband loves his mother. Two, I wanted, because I was busy, to have the stability of an adult in my home who does not move. So even as house helps move, my mother-in-law was a stable factor in my home with my children. Work out your own strategy. So those are critical decisions you must make. Determine what counts for your own life.
It was because of this, as well as a supportive husband, that she has been able to achieve as much as she has been able to. And while I don't think everything was rosy 24/7, to the best of my understanding, she has been able to have a successful career as well as a happy marriage and family. I've come to the conclusion that you can have it all, but you can't do it all. Trying to do it all would only cause frustration and burnout. I believe it's wisdom to outsource what can be outsourced, delegate what can be delegated, and actually focus on the things that really need your attention.
Some days I can't get out of my bed. Some days I'm waking up on the wrong side of my head, and I got all these eyes on me.
My definition of balance is changing. I no longer think balance means being able to do every single thing simultaneously at the same time without losing steam. I mean, you're not a robot. And even robots overheat when they are overworked. But balance is having the wisdom to know what to focus on per time and knowing how to delegate the rest or keep them aside to deal with later. Which brings me to my next point: maximize your focus. As I said earlier, usually whenever I wanted to balance in the sense of doing every single thing every day equally, I found out that whenever I shifted my attention from one task to the other, I would usually lose up that built-up steam and end up wasting more time compared to if I had just focused on that very first task from the beginning. So I said to myself, why not maximize that burst of energy on that first task that I was focusing on? This is what I meant by going with the flow. I've learned that it is almost impossible to dedicate the same amount of time and energy and focus on every single thing going on in your life all the time. So I ask myself, what is the most important thing going on in my life right now? What is the most important task that I have to accomplish right now? And I focus all of my attention and my energy on that thing. Now, this doesn't mean I'm going to totally neglect all the other things, but I'm learning not to feel guilty for focusing on that one thing.
On the days it's hard to leave your bed.
So let's be clear, there are some things that would always remain a priority in my life, no matter what season I'm in. My relationship with God and my devotion to His work, for one. God is my source. I find my strength from Him, so I can't even do anything else if I'm not in sync with Him. But the other things going on in my life, they can take turns on getting on that front burner. Right now, I think what I'm focusing on is YouTube. For the past 3 weeks, I've been planning, drafting, brainstorming, filming, and I'm going to keep on editing for the next couple of weeks. Last month, I think what I was focusing on was my final year project. I almost wasn't doing any other thing. Of course, I'm still learning, and how I go about this will most likely evolve over the years, but just learning as we go.